Audio solamente, huh?
Yep.
All right, cool.
We've been in radio. No, the media's not entirely dead. Getting there, but podcast still exists, so
Absolutely.
maybe a transition at some
I
point.
love the podcasts myself. I'm actually reading a novel right now where there's a podcast woven into the novel that you read. Like one of the central characters is listening to a crime podcast throughout the story, which is a crime story. It's actually really cool.
Very cool. And for those of us joining, already in progress, we are with...
Jason Liebrecht, the American voice actor / actor. I say American because I was just interviewed by the Polish media. So,
Well, I actually hear most recently you're Rude Mechanical.
that's true. Yes, sir. I've been a Rude Mechanical for, longer than I've been a voice actor.
So, one of our favorite questions to ask voice actors is, what's your favorite swear?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one for me. I grew up with them being used pretty regularly as a result of being raised by a Chilean. Mm-hmm. So my father always considered them the salt and pepper of the language. So the consequence was he would just be like, shit, right, Jason? Shit, fuck, right? So, I don't know, I'm kind of an equal opportunity swearer, personally.
Okay. And I've noticed some of the more recent work that you've done has really focused on that sort of aspect of not only some of the original overwhelming pop culture fandom that is Shakespeare, but some of the more recent cartoons have been becoming more rude in their mechanism.
Yeah, I would say so. I would agree with that.
All right.
Absolutely. And actually, item of note, with the Rude Mechs, we do what we call a Fixing Shakespeare series, where I don't know if you're familiar, but
I am not all familiar. Sadly, I don't get down to Texas nearly often enough.
Well, I wish you'd seen our King John, our Fixing King John, because King John could curse a blue streak.
Well,
Fuck France, as he says.
Indeed. In that case, what is the Fixing series about? How is it you're fixing it?
Well, we're taking works that are lesser known or not well thought of, and condensing them.
So we started with Coriolanus then?
No, we started with King John. King John was our first one. But it was all of the play. He wrote a lot of plays, and the plays that are not very well thought of, we are reconfiguring, condensing, removing characters, changing them into the modern vernacular, including tons and tons of swear words. And, in the case of King John, there was a real keg on the stage, and when in doubt, the director would direct me, like, go get a beer.
Actually, something that brings that up is the democratization of theater. Now that you're engaging in a lot of voice acting, and so people get little shards of you all over the place, even if you don't necessarily look like the person, there is a massive economic divide between those who engage in theater and those that don't, and between theater companies that are in that top bit versus the, classically Rude Mechanicals that are in a local area. What do you think of the practice of filming theater work for distribution?
I like the idea. One of our more well thought of, more widely toured productions, The Method Gun, was shot for I'm not sure if it's a cable, I don't know if they're not a network, but they're a channel I think you can find them on cable and also streaming, but they fully shot us with a 3-camera scenario when we did the play in Portland. And people subscribed and rented it and watched it. I've watched it. I don't think it comes off quite as well as if you were there. I think it's difficult to, especially a show like that's typically staged kind of in the round. But it was better. I thought it was better than I thought it would be initially. So I'm all for it. I mean, if it gets more people to see plays, then I think it's excellent.
All right, well then, how about the art that still dare not speak its name, Broadway bootlegs? How are we feeling about those?
Personally, I'm okay with them, but I come from a theater collective. So for me, now we're not, it's not like we're starving, but we definitely are getting a smaller piece of the pie, as you mentioned. Now, we do have a lot of donors, and we do receive a lot of benefit from grants, and we tend to share any proceeds that we make equally, as is our nature as a collective. So, I don't know, I guess my perspective on it is a little bit skewed, just from where I sit.
There's no such thing as a skewed perspective about it. We're talking about the distribution of art in capitalism. You're obliged to have an opinion. You do it for a living.
I mean, I would like more people to see. I would like more people to see theater. So,
all right.
I don't want anybody to be cut out and not make a living as a result of things being pirated, and I would never want that in any industry where art is involved. But I do like the idea of more people getting their eyes on art.
Is there a chance that, much like the Reduced Shakespeare Company, your fixed series might see work as a radio play or film?
I think there is a chance of that. Yeah, absolutely. The Rudes are pretty open to, a lot of pretty weird stuff. So historically, we've been LARPers up there with the whole audience in a tiny room with us.
Yes.
I've tied balloons to my penis in all over the world.
Well,
not that I'm bragging about that.
Is there a story there, or just for fun?
That's part of the method gun.
Oh, well done.
And it's the idea behind it was to employ male full frontal nudity, but to take anything threatening out of it.
So like puppetry?
Indeed.
I assume you saw it.
I did not see puppetry of the penis.
Oh, well done.
I think I've seen clips, though. Probably pirated clips. Those guys are doing all right, though. The guys that created that, I'm pretty sure they're doing okay.
Oh, yeah. So you're sitting in the center for voice work for the U.S. I mean, the Texas area is where they do that.
Yes.
Any chance that there might be some of your work with Rude Mechanical done entirely as an audio?
That I don't know. I mean, I know
the talent and you've got the gear there.
I suppose it's a possibility. I mean, for us to do some sort of stage play on radio, a radio play, as it were. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. Like I said, we are truly experimental, and I think everything is fair game.
Well, for those of you out there that came to us through our radio play sort of set of audiences, maybe you can look forward to that. Maybe not. You know what? We'll see how it goes.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Can we ask you a favor?
Absolutely.
Can you say basically hello and your name, and it can be in character for a character if you want, and thank you for listening to Damocles Thread?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Liebrecht, and I very much appreciate you listening to Damocles Thread. Take care.